So a lot of students here in Exeter are working in term time and holidays to pay their bills.
And when it comes to the prospects of getting a full-time job after graduating, the news hasn't been good.
The economy has not grown at all since the end of the summer in 2010.
With unemployment in Britain high and growth low.
Youth unemployment likely to rise above 1 million.
I think the confidence factor's worsened,
So if you're going to have enough to live on here in Exeter, you might need to take on paid work, either in term time or during the holidays. But if you're serious about getting a job after you graduate, the advice is to get work as an intern instead. And that work might well be unpaid. I've been looking into why Exeter students work for free in their spare time and what they might be getting out of it.
My name is Jasmina. I'm a fourth year English literature and French language student.
Jasmina wants to work in human resources after she leaves Exeter. Last summer, she got an internship, which wasn't paid.
I really enjoyed it. The company was great and my work colleagues were amazing and it was really good experience. However, I did find it really difficult in terms of economics. I simply couldn't afford to do work 9 hours per day and not receiving any kind of money for it. It was really difficult.
Jasmina only managed to pay for her internship by using the cash left over from her Erasmus grant.
They provided me with a full training, and it was really good training, and I've learned a lot about the work, and I was really grateful because they've given up their own time to kind of train me. But in the same way, it was a commission work, so I know for sure that I've earned some money for the company, which I haven't seen any of. But my work colleagues tried to make it a little bit fairer, and they brought me like a goodbye present when I was leaving, so that was quite nice.
It's no surprise some students are doing all they can to make themselves more employable. As Dom Chambers, a manager of a local radio station, told me a standalone degree is not enough.
There's no substitute for real and practical experience. People can go to uni, they can go to colleges and go to further education and sit, important qualifications, NVQs, degrees, and I think that's all part of the process. But in my view, there's nothing better than actually having a tangible work experience.
Some companies do pay their interns, like the retailer John Lewis. They offer positions in many of their stores and pay them £300 a week. Sophie Adams is in charge of graduate recruitment. She says it's money well spent.
We're probably paying above the rate as to what they're delivering, but I guess what we are paying for and what we're recognising is actually potential. So we want to hear about their ideas and see whether they've got potential to come back as a graduate, and we're paying to reflect that.
Sophie feels interns add an extra dimension to the company.
If we can bring more graduates through from the internship programme and use that as a pipeline, that sort of saves us some money further down the line with recruitment costs. I also think it saves us money in terms of retention, because someone that's done an internship and comes back as a graduate is more likely to stay with us because they understand the business, they know what to expect.
While John Lewis, being a major retail company, can afford to pay their interns, Sophie does understand why there are plenty of unpaid positions.
Smaller organisations might find it hard to be able to afford to pay somebody extra. For us, it is an extra. It's not something that we have to have people in as interns. It's something that we like to do. So the advantage there is that it's someone that's got a fresh pair of eyes, can view things in a different way, because a lot of our managers have been in our stores for a long time, so it's nice to get some fresh input. So they can really deliver something that's perhaps a bit more creative, something that we hadn't thought of as a solution, and that can be really, really valuable because it sends something that could then get rolled out across that branch.
Earlier in the week, I spoke to the university's employability manager, Ian Hodges, and asked him whether there has been a rise in unpaid internships.
Traditionally, there are some occupations where employers have recruited people onto unpaid internships, but there seems to be more of that happening at the moment, partly because in a sense, the employers have the upper hand because there are lots of students chasing a smaller number of opportunities. One of the views that have been put across is that unpaid internships is considered exploitation because employers are simply taking on students who are willing to work for free while they're doing an actual job. What are your views on that, and do you think anything could change? As a service, we don't actively publicise unpaid internships, but we recognise that some students will want to gain experience and therefore will choose to do unpaid internships. It's not an ideal situation, and I do feel that there are plenty of employers who are exploiting students and taking them on and making them do good work when they should be being paid a proper rate for the job.
It's clear that getting an internship seriously boosts your employability for when you graduate. Whilst companies like John Lewis pay students for the work they do, there's a growing trend that students have to do this experience for free. With students desperate to get on the job ladder, it seems unpaid internships aren't going anywhere.